Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to A Walk in My Shoes. My name is Daniel. I am your host, and today I have a special guest for you today. Thank you for taking time with us. He's a great friend of mine. He's actually right now in Los Angeles, California. So please give a musical welcome to my man, Justin Campbell. Justin, thank you for taking time to be with us today and letting us walk in your shoes today. How are you?
I'm doing very great, man. Great to be here, and thank you guys for calling me to be along for this.
Yeah, awesome. So, how's the weather right now? How is it in California?
The weather's not too bad right now. It's kind of overcast.
Oh yeah.
During June they call it this time of the year they call it June gloom.
Okay.
So during this month, usually it's very clean overcast, but it's
Oh really?
okay. It's not hot and it's not cold. Cool.
That's awesome, man. So, I see that you are a music artist. Like that's what you do, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, can you give us an overview of what you do? Tell us what you do, or tell the people that are.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I started off playing drums. I've been playing drums since I was 5 years old, and I just been hooked ever since. Music has always called me since I can remember, and I started off playing drums at 5 years old, and eventually I started playing in church around 9 years old, and then from there, by the time I was 13, I was already doing professional events, concerts and things around Columbus, Ohio. So I've been at it for a while now, and it's been
Wow.
great. It's really been a blessing, and it's been great.
That's awesome. So,
Many
give
awesome.
give us the ones that are watching. If you can just give us a typical day. So, when you wake up, what is it? How do you feel to be a musician? What is it that you do? Like, does music come out of? Do you hear music everywhere you go? Like,
Yes, I do hear music out of everything. Sometimes you can hear from as simple as your windshield wiper when it's raining, or you can hear that's hammering on steel and things like that, or train tracks going across. Everything has a rhythm, so that's kind of how my mind works as a musician.
that is so
But
awesome.
a typical day though, I would say I wake up. I wake up around 6 in the morning. Drink my water, pray, all that good
Okay.
stuff, and then from there, aside from music, I buy real estate. So
Oh,
during the
nice.
daytime, typically I work on my business, for a few hours, maybe from like 8 to 12, and then after that is pretty much all music. So during the afternoons, I teach. I have some students that I teach drums to. So that takes up most of my afternoon, and then the evening is left strictly for music. I start practicing around 5 p.m. And then I practice from 5 to like 8, and then from there I just relax and maybe work on some more music. But other than that, just take it easy. So that's a typical day.
Oh, that's awesome. So, has this COVID-19 affected your music career, or has it affected teaching or your real estate?
So it has affected me, I would say, more positive than negative, simply because, like, basically, these whole years, all these years, I've been performing on stage 4 to 5 nights a week. So I was always out playing on stage. So it never gave me a lot of time to just stay home and practice on my craft. So given that every public event has been canceled, so I have no more shows. Most people would think that's a bad thing, but for me, I've looked at it as a great thing because it's given me a lot of time to devote back into my passion and get back into what I started playing drums for originally. It wasn't just to get paid; it was to just play. So now since we've been quarantining and things like that, I've been able to just play. And I, The timeout button. It made everybody sit still. And for me, I prefer to take advantage of this time because I'm always on the move. So this allowed me to stay still, stay at home, and work on my craft even more. So it's just been a great time to practice and just keep improving. And it's been a long time since I've been able to do it like this. So it's been good.
Like, I know you may not want to brag, or I know you're a humble guy, but like, what level would you say? Like, are you have you get any contracts, or have you been playing for important people or main events? Like, I'm talking about like
Yeah.
practice. We're not talking about real thing. We're talking about practice.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to be able to play with a lot of great people. I've been having some great opportunities, and also that all the reason why I've been able to get those opportunities is because of practice.
Yeah.
So if you don't, and music is like the most honest thing there is because as soon as you play a note, you either sound good or you sound bad, and the determining factor is practice. The only way you will sound good is if you practice. So, yeah, so for me, when I'm practicing, yes, I am good, but I can always get better. And also, there's always somebody else better than you. So I have to put in that time to keep, my sword sharp. I have to constantly practice. If you stop practicing, they always say like if you don't use it, you lose it. So for me, it's the same way. If you're not in there practicing, you're gonna lose it.
So how many hours do you practice? Let's just say before you're at the stage. Like, so growing up, how many hours did you put in a day?
Growing up, I put in a lot of hours, so I would do like maybe like 2 to 3 hours a day.
Uh huh.
Uh, yeah, I would do like 2 to 3 hours a day, but now it's just usually like an hour a day or so, not as much as it
Yeah.
used to be because that was before I had jobs and stuff like that.
So you said it, that you would hear music everywhere you go. So as far as the wipers, train tracks. So do you come up with? Do you have like your own music? Like, do you write songs, or do you?
Yeah, I write music all the time. I get paid, like I get hired to write music for different things too, like TVs and TV shows, and I've been fortunate to write music for movies. But like you said, like I was able at a young age, I was able to notice rhythm and notes out of so many different things. Just as a young kid, it's just and just using your imagination, so
So,
it's cool.
so can you give us the process of like what you're thinking or what you're feeling? Like, for example, you know what? They want you to come up with a song. For example, Mr. Campbell, can you write a song for me about working out? Okay, motivational. What's your process? Do you music
So
first, words first?
well, for me, I'm not a lyricist, so I'm not going to be able to write a song like sing it and all that. That's not my area. But as far but exactly. But as far as music is concerned, when you're saying, you want a song about working out and motivational, as soon as you said those words, I'm already thinking of a certain sound that I want to deliver to you. So I'm already thinking, aggressive guitars and then like, you know, some rock drums maybe, or just based off of what you're saying right now. So, and that's how a
So
lot of
how
people.
long do you need? Like, I'm guessing they say I need it by the end of the month, or when you write the song, do you hear it again and do you add things, take things off? Like,
Yes. So say I'm getting contact by a movie producer or music manager. Um, they'll talk to me and they'll say like, "Hey, we need some music for these three scenes. We need more of an '80s energetic sort of rhythm." and then slow it down at the end. So, and we need it in a jazz format. So I was like, okay. So from that information, I will create something that I feel sounds like what they described, and then I'll send it to them. Once they hear it, they'll either like it or they'll ask for things to be removed or added. Hey, can you speed it up a little bit? Can you slow it down? Can you add some flute? Can you add whatever? And then from there, I take it back, I work on it more, send it through. And that process happens until the client is happy with what I'm giving them. So that's
When you get the music, you're adding the drums, guitar, bass, you doing everything, correct?
yes. Now there are sometimes, say, like if there's a technical song or like you know some a piece of work that requires a lot more difficulty. I'm not a pianist, so therefore I may contact one of my friends who is a really good pianist and have him record that part for me, and then I'll send it to the client.
Band, or is this just you, or do you just go
So
everywhere?
so I'm freelance. I do work in a few bands, but when we're speaking about this type of work, it's usually just me. Like mu- music supervisors for TV shows and movies contact me to create music for their shows or their movies. And then from there, if I need to hire, like I said, if I need to hire out a pianist or a guitar player, I'll do that. But yeah, it starts with me though.
That's awesome. Guys, you guys are watching A Walk in My Shoes. This has been brought to you by AMP, Achieve More and Prosper. So hashtag level up with AMP. You're listening to Justin Campbell. Campbell, thank you again for joining us. So let's go where you grew up. How did you grow up and just how you got to where you are right now?
Yeah, so I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. I'm born and bred. Was Uh, Grew up there. I grew up in the Linden area, right off of like Cleveland Avenue and 17th. So not the greatest area, but I learned a lot, and there were some wonderful people that have shaped and molded me throughout my life. So that's where I grew up at.
Okay. Okay. So when did you know that you wanted to be a musician, or that was the path you wanted to take?
That's a good question. So I I knew that I loved music when I was like 6 years old, 7 years old, right? And then I knew I wanted to be a musician like for my life when I was around like 14, 15. Like there's a time where I was practicing with my friend. He's a fellow drummer as well. And we were playing, and eventually when we were taking a break, it just hit me like I wanted to stay every day, and I spoke that. I told him that. I was like, dude, like we need to be doing this every day, all day. So eventually that's what started happening, So I just tried to design my lifestyle to where it revolves around music, you know. So I've been able to get that, and it's a challenge, and it's a everyday work. You don't just do it. You gotta, it doesn't just happen. You gotta like do it, take action, and get to it.
So, like the people, like growing up, so I don't know how it was in high school.
Mhm.
Did you hang around with people who also played with music, or were they into sports or other things? How did you stay persistent on this is what I'm doing? Because I bet people were saying, man, you can do this sport or you can do this. How did you
Right,
just say, you know what, this is what I want?
right. So I don't know, man. So like, I just like I said, like since I was 6 years old, like I was in love with music. So
Just
yeah,
like, oh, I need it.
yeah, like seriously. So even when I first started taking lessons when I was in like third grade, right? I would take lessons after school from the music teacher. So where I went was Cobb's. I mean McGuffey and Cobb's, if anybody's familiar with that. So McGuffey, the elementary school, is shared with the high school. So every day after school, I would go get lessons from from the music teacher. So I would go to school with my drum, snare drum, and I would walk to school. And during that time, people would like, tease me and things like, "Oh, look at the little drummer boy" and stuff like that. But for me, it didn't phase me. I was just like, I'm like, yo, this is cool. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, but this is awesome. I don't, so from there, during high school and things like that, I was cool with everybody. I was cool with the football players, the musicians, the scholars, everything. Just because I was solid with them, I knew what I wanted to do and I knew what I loved, and I didn't care what anybody else thought. So, so it didn't phase me, and I think that's what kind of made me all around, and people enjoyed.
Now, was there someone who helped you during this time? Like, is there someone you look up to, or you always went, hey, you know what? I need help or I need encouragement?
Yeah, so I would say just the first person I would say is probably my older brother. I would say he's probably the reason why I got into music because he's a saxophone player and he had a large library of music. So, and he's 8 years older than me. So I always kind of looked up to him musically. He would give me a lot of advice, give me heads up, let me know how to be professional, show up on time, know your music, all those type of things. So I would say already built in, I already had a personal mentor, and I would give him the credit for that. There's been more people along the way, but I would say he's the first.
So, like everyone in their career, they've always had, man, they hit rock bottom, or they, question themselves, is this really worth it, or is this is more work than what I thought it was going to be? We think of music artists, and it's all about lights and show, man. That's it. Hey, this is for you. How did you get that rock bottom situation, or
Yeah, that's a good question. So I would say, as an entrepreneur and as a musician, it's not if, it's when you hit rock bottom. And it's yeah, it's not about
I didn't hear it
not
honestly.
if, it's when.
It's not if, it's when you hit rock bottom. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because you're going to do it. And I'm telling everybody out there that is starting out in business and doing their own thing, you're going to get hit, but it's all about how you get up. It's all about your response. There's always a saying that I like to hear say is, you fall down 7 times, you get up 8. So no matter what, you always get up. So there's always going to be times where you're falling down. You may fail. You may miss out. Like, say if you're a business owner, you might lose some money. That's okay. You got to get up. So so for me, I've always just like, you got to have your end goal in mind. You got to have a vision. You have to have a big vision, right? And you have to know where you're going to end up at. So when you do go through those failures, you still keep that big vision in mind, knowing that, all right, I know I fell down this time, but I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna keep going towards what I'm getting after. And that's called failing forward. Failing forward, you know, and, and failure is inevitable. Like, it's literally around us just as much as oxygen that we breathe. So if you can get that around your head, knowing that you're going to fail eventually, be okay with that, because that's what makes you better and that's what gives you lessons. So fail forward, my people.
And that's awesome that you say that, because many times, we look at people and we're like, well, I would do this differently so I won't fall or I won't fail. But
Mhm.
that's part of the growing up. That's part of the process. And I like how you said it's not if, it's when you fall. It's when you're at rock bottom. That's really good, because that goes for everything. Like you said, your business you're starting, um, education, your career.
Goes for
Man,
every
that is
fitness, everything. It's literally applied to everything. You know.
awesome. So What is your favorite part of what you do?
My favorite part of what I do is being able to I'm allowed to do what I want. Like I'm I'm control of my time, and I've designed my life to do that, to where I don't really have to go to a job per se. So I like that I can take control of my time. That's something that's very important to me.
So, what would you tell someone like 'cause that you need dedication, you need commitment if you're gonna do it your own time, right? Like, this is my set time where I'm gonna do it. What about who's someone who's just so used to, like, I just need to work from 6 to 2 or 6 to 1 in the morning, and or
Yeah.
six, is that I don't know. I guess I don't know what I'm asking.
No, I know what you. I give. So okay. So this entrepreneurship and working for somebody is very similar. You're still working, but you're just not working for somebody else, right? So those same principles that you have for working for somebody else, you need to apply for yourself. So therefore, if you're used to working 9 to 5, okay, now start working 9 to 5 for yourself. Apply those same rules and restrictions. Like, hey, I got to work from this amount of time, and so when you set those parameters, you stick to it. So like even for me, I said to get work done, I put my timer on 20 minutes, and then from there, once that 20 minutes goes off, then I can take a break, 10 minutes, and then I reset it 2 minutes. And when during those 20 minutes, no distractions, no phone calls, no texts, no emails, no nothing, just what you gotta get done. And then once that ringer goes off, 10 minutes, you got 10 minutes to do whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want within that 10 minutes, and then it's back to. So you do that until you decide when work is over. You know,
Times, schedule, set schedule. Was it different when it went from set schedule to you make your own schedule, or was it easier?
no, it's a challenge because when you have the liberty to not work or not do anything, you know, it's easy to do that. It's easy to just be like, I'm not going to work today, even though you really probably should. So it takes a while and years of discipline and recalibrating your schedule and your habits in order to, you know, really get it dialed in.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like that. What would you tell someone who maybe is into music and they're really good at the bass or the drums? What would a word of encouragement or maybe a tip you would tell them?
Absolutely. So if you're into music and you love it, or even if you like it, just get into it. Just really dig in, start listening to all sorts of music, see what you like, see what you don't like. And even if you don't like it, just try to appreciate it. Step outside of yourself and see why other people like it. That way, that opens up your ear to a lot more genres. So, and then also, if you play an instrument already, keep practicing. Practice, practice, practice. It's just like, you can't expect to be good if you're not practicing. Just like you can't expect to have a six pack if you're not doing ab exercise.
I'm
You're
gonna
not
get a
going
six
to
pack.
the gym. Yeah, you can't do that with the girls with Hershey, you know, the
That's
Butterfinger.
right.
You can't do it. So music is the same way. Business is the same way. If you don't work, you're not going to get the results. You only get out what you put in.
That's good, man. That's really good. So, how was it with you learning different styles of music? Like, was it challenging?
Absolutely. It still is challenging. Music is just challenging in itself. And for me, like learning different genres was important for me as a drummer because I didn't want to be restricted to one style. It's almost for me, it's just like food. I don't want to be constricted just to eating nachos every day. I want to eat nachos today, salad tomorrow, steak on this day, and this and that and fourth. That's how I that's how I interpret music, you know. So that's why I always encourage other music, listen to all types of music.
That's funny. You interpret music with food. I interpret working out with food as well. There's some foods that are hard. Some workouts that are like, oh man, I know I'm gonna pay for this
Exactly.
later.
Yep.
That's awesome. Man, guys, you guys are listening to Justin Campbell. He is in Los Angeles, California. Again, you're watching a walk in my shoes. Thank you, Justin, for letting us walk in your shoes. So we're gonna have some questions from the audience.
Okay.
One of the question is, what are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? That's a great question. I'm proud of the decisions that I've made to get me to this point, you know, and been there hasn't been easy, you know, so I've had to make tough decisions to keep going forth with my goals and my passion. So I'm proud of the decisions that I've made. I'll say that.
Question: what is your all-time dream for music?
That's a great question too.
Whoa! I want to hear this one. I don't know who asked that, but man, they should get like a star or something.
I would say like ultimately, I just want to be able to get better, be a better musician, and teach others how to be good as well at their at what they love. And then also just want to play with other people that feel the same as I do. You know, whether they're the best musicians in the world or the worst, I don't care. As long as you're a good person and you're making music, that's what it's about. You know, so for me, I feel like I'm already living my ultimate dream, which is to play music. You know, so
And it's not a job. If you love it, it seems like you're loving it. So it's like this
man,
is not
yeah,
work
it's
at
not
all.
love it.
Man, that is so. You just said about people who can play and not play. Has there ever been a time that they call you up to play with a group and you're just jamming out, and this person besides you is like, oh man, like they called you?
Absolutely. There's been timeless times of that. You know, there's been endless amounts of times, and I'm sure during my period of life too, there's been times where somebody was looking at me like that, like, I.
Who called this kid up? Who's not
So, every,
Justin?
you know, and that's the thing about music. Everybody, we're all at different stages of our progressions in our crafts. You know,
So here we go. We'll go. If you can go back on time to when you began, what would you keep from doing?
keep from doing,
So what would you
uh,
say? That's it. Nope.
not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I would keep from not taking breaks on practicing because there were times where I didn't practice for months on end, you know. So I would say I would practice more. I would tell myself to practice more, and then just listen more. Keep your ears big. So I would just even listen to even more music, and then take more lessons. You know work with musicians that are better than me,
So speaking of
and even in business, you find people better than me.
Yeah, so speaking of musicians that are better than you, how do you would you take criticism? Like if they say, "Hey, you know what? You have talent. Growing up, you have talent, you have skills, but you really need to work on this, or you need to, maybe slow down here, or you know what I mean?" Like, and you're
Mhm.
like, you're thinking, "Man, I'm a big shot. What do you think?" How did you?
So so yeah, definitely I've received criticism all my life, and you just got to be open. You got to be open to it, and you can't be offended by the criticism that you receive from a fellow musician, you know, especially somebody who's way older than you and been on that stage 1,000 times more than you better listen up, you know, because they're really telling you about yourself. Hey, you were dragging that song, you know, you were super slow on that, so you take a mental note of that, you know. So you just got to be open to all sorts of critics.
Take it like that, like, oh, okay, or were you, because sometimes we kind of, like, sometimes I'm working out and somebody might say, you're not doing that right. And I'm like, okay,
Right.
I
So
want you to do it then.
absolutely. So you got to keep an open ear, and that doesn't mean that you take in everything that people say as word. So it's up to your interpretation. If you consider that person, maybe better than you at what you do, then you might want to take more of a consideration of what they're saying. But if they're somebody who doesn't really know what they're talking about, then you might want to put that into the spam email.
Okay, and then
Exactly.
just.
Exactly.
All right, so here we go. Do you have any role models?
Role models. That's a good question. I would say that most of my role models have been on stage. A lot of the musicians that I played with over my life, a lot of older musicians. Even when I was 16 years old, I started off in a blues band in Columbus, and I was 16. Everybody was 60 something years old. So they were just really sowing a lot of seeds and wisdom into me at a young age. And I considered them role models at that point in time. But I've had a few role models, just through music and through business.
Go. Which editing software do you recommend for anyone who's just starting off with recording and mixing music?
I would say that it really depends on what works best for you. I would try a few different ones, but personally, I use Ableton right now. Ableton is a great software, and then also Logic is good too. So I would start with those and see which ones you like, and and then just take it from there. But I've tried a bunch of them.
So here we go. Have you had a chance to work with any well-known artists or musicians throughout your career?
Yeah. So I've worked with a lot of jazz musicians, a whole lot of great jazz musicians like Wynton Marsalis, Branford the Marsalis brothers, Ray Ayers, some of the musicians from the Ohio Players, like the old '70s funk group. I played for the Rick James band. I played for Patti LaBelle. Uh, uh, who else? Oh man, I've had some good opportunities. Looking for, and I'm definitely excited. Mhm.
Them? Do you get like, oh man, I'm nervous. I better not. Or are you still like, are you just
Better
calm? Like,
believe,
I got this.
yeah, you better believe I'm nervous. If you're playing with great, you get a little jittery, but once you start playing, it kind of goes away. It's just like, all right, I'm in it. Let's go.
Can you talk about the first time you played like in a main event? Like, okay, this is your first main gig, and what were you thinking about? What were your thoughts? What were your emotions? Like, can you just take us through that?
All right, so I will take you all the way back to 9 years old when I was just starting playing drums, and, and I had to do my first church service. And boy, oh boy, was I nervous. You know, just like in the sweat, mom spaghetti. It was bad. It was all bad. So, eventually, like before the service, the keyboardist, he was an older gentleman, came up and talked to me like, because he saw that I was clearly nervous. Hands just rubbing his face.
Yeah.
I'm 9 years old. I'm 9 years old. I'm about to play in front of a congregation of like 400 people. So that's going to be a little
Yeah.
unnerving. So, but he just talked me through it. He's like, listen, you're gonna be all fine. You're gonna be fine. Just go over, just do exactly what we went over. I'll lead you through everything. I'll be looking back to make sure you're okay. You're gonna be great. And I was so nervous the whole time. But once I got done, that's when I was just like, all right, this feels good. I like this. You know.
Like a huge relief just came out. Like,
Big relief.
oh.
You know, I didn't die, and then also I didn't ruin the the music.
I, that's
So
right.
we're good.
Oh, I bet. I bet. They didn't have to tape the sticks to your hands.
uh,
So I've noticed that I just, not recently, but that the drums, there's actually a music sheet for that. Like,
mhm.
that's so amazing. Like, to be able to read and know, like, does it tell you how hard or how fast, like,
Absolutely. Yeah. So it has all those symbols and adjustments on dynamics and the how to hit the note the drum. You know, it has all of that information.
because
Mhm.
when I see drums, they're just like, they're just like, bam, 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 jamming out, having a good time. But man, for those that you have to read and just, that's just like
It's
amazing.
actually it's a lot simpler
Is it?
than you would think. Like, yeah, I've been teaching a lot of people all
Uh huh.
ages, and I'm confident that I can teach anyone how to read and play drums.
Oh, okay. So you do teach them how to read or teach them
Yes,
how to play by ear?
yeah. Every single one of my students that I teach, I always teach them how to read and play.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
That is really awesome. Let's see. Um, yes. What is the most important advice you give to a young inspiring musician?
I would say um, just keep practicing. Practicing is so important, and just stay and just really just get deep into it. Go deep, like listen to all sorts of music. Be curious about music. Ask yourself, why does it feel good to me? And really just like whatever your instrument is, really use your ear to zoom in on that particular instrument. So if you play bass, when you're listening to the music, really zoom in and listen for that bass. It's almost like the ear is almost very similar to your eye if you use it properly. So when you're listening to music, use it like your eye. Like you want to look for something, look for it with your ear. Like, okay, I hear that bass line, and then focus on that on every song that you get. And there's so
Man,
much stuff, so many more things I could say.
but that's really good though. That you said it's like an eye. So you're hearing, but you're focusing on that instrument, um, and not on everything. Because music, you
Particular
hear a
thing,
lot of
target
things.
in, yeah,
Yeah,
zoom in.
like there's one time that my brother's like, "Hey, did you hear that violin? Violin? I can't hear." Oh, that's right. There is a violin there. I'm like, wow.
Exactly. Yep.
That's awesome. As a musician, how would you define the word potential?
Potential. Potential is like a very, how can I say potential?
Yeah, like potential. You got potential. No, you don't.
Yeah, it's one of those things because like I think that's just like a word that people just shove around because in music you either sound good or you sound bad.
Yes.
So potential is right in the middle. So
Okay.
you're not telling me really what it is. So for me, potential, I don't consider it. Just keep going for what you're doing, and just keep striving to get good.
Yeah. So these, your students that are coming and you're teaching them, is there like one that you see, wow, this guy has potential, or this girl has potential? Do you put more time, or do you teach like more into? Because I know you teach the basics, but right away you can tell who has talent or potential.
Right. So everybody's skill sets are different coming into the door. So I teach people that have been playing for 10 years, and then there's people that I teach that never touched drumsticks in their life. So,
Yeah.
and for me, I would say like I wouldn't base it on potential. I would say it's just all about. I mean, of course, there are people that are just
Oh
naturally
yeah. Uh huh.
more skilled, but I don't even consider that. Potential is all lined up with how much time you put into your craft. That's all it is. Potential doesn't mean anything to me. How much time are you putting into your craft?
Yeah.
Because you're not born great. Everybody who plays instruments, everybody starts off sounding horrible.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
no matter what, yeah, no matter what, don't feel bad when you're practicing like crap. That's okay. That means you're getting rid of the crap and you're getting better. So, we all start horrible. No one is exempt from the process. So for me, I don't look at potential. At work you're gonna put in.
That brings a question to my mind is so they tell you, Mr. Campbell, can you give us a song talking about so and so or the theme? And you come up with the song and you're like, man, okay, here it is. And you give it to them and then they're like, what's this? Has that ever happened or is that just, or
Yeah,
not?
absolutely. Yeah, there's been times where I've came to the studio and I'm recording drums over a track, and I get done with that with the song, and they might punch in on the intercom. Maybe maybe a little better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had that happen a lot of times, and that's okay. You know.
Yeah, yeah, because I understand sometimes like I would come up with a song and then I'd show the wife, eh. And I'm like, what do you mean, eh? I've been here for hours, and you give me an eh? you know, I'm like what? And then I'm thinking, you don't know music.
At the end of the day, you just have to do what feels best for you. If it feels good and sounds good to you, that's really all that matters.
Yeah,
What anybody else thinks doesn't matter unless they're hiring you to sound good for their music. But
yeah,
outside of that, if you're just doing it for yourself, it doesn't matter what people think.
that's right.
You do it because it sounds good to you. That's first and foremost.
That's good. That's good. Uh, how important is social networking, such as social media, importance as a freelance musician?
I would say that is very important. It's something that I don't do enough. When it comes to social media, I'm very much of a face-to-face type guy and a texting type person. So social media isn't my best friend. I know that I need to do it more, but to anybody out there, with this age range, take advantage of social media. Definitely do it because if I was 13 to 24, my social media would be crazy right now. But since
Yeah.
I'm 34 right now, I'm not really interested. So,
Yeah, that's right.
so
Because now it's
but
the
take
big thing.
advantage. It's the way.
Yeah. So where can we find you in social media? So if those that are wanting to hear your music or find
Yeah. So I am on Instagram under JCam Drums.
J
JCAM.
Camp.
Yeah, JCAM Drums. So
Okay.
I am under there, and then you can look me up on Facebook,
Okay.
Justin Campbell. I'll pull up,
Okay. We're
and
gonna actually type that in on the chat to let the
okay,
who's ever watching know how to reach out to you.
for sure.
Um,
Yeah, reach out to
yeah.
me if you guys have any questions or anything. Feel free to hit me up. I always respond, so it's no
Yeah,
big.
man, that's awesome. Justin, again, thank you for joining and taking time off your busy day to be with us and letting us walk in your shoe, and
No
just to
problem.
kind of get the view of of what you do, what you see, what you hear. That's awesome. This is a great thing for us. We also have some more questions. These are fun questions. This is first question is brought to us by CWC, Cooking with Claudia. It's every Friday at 3 o'clock. What is your favorite food?
Oh man, it depends on the day, man. Like I like to cook. I love to cook, and we eat different foods every day. I mean, I even travel for food. So, but one thing I would say, I love tacos. So,
Yes. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yes. Taco
so
Tuesday.
I would say that's probably my favorite food.
Yeah. All right. All right. That's awesome. Tacos. Is there any specific tacos like I don't know if it's carne asada or I don't know if it.
Pastor y taco de chorizo. Y
De pastor y de chorizo, man. That's so awesome. Man, okay, here we go. We have another question, a fun question. I can never stop smiling when.
when I'm playing music for real, like when I'm on stage, I'm having a blast.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the good thing about
Yeah,
music is that you could express your emotion or you could express your feelings. It's just like a whole different language, right?
exactly.
You could just, man, I
Exactly.
just need to let it out or I just need a vent. So I'm going to just, whatever. And
Hmm?
that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, another one, another fun question. What is my favorite superhero is,
My favorite superhero, what's his name? What's his name? What's his
what's
name?
his name? Um, Captain America.
No, man.
Oh,
No.
man. That's all.
Oh, it's Gambit from X-Men
Oh, Gambit. Okay.
with the
Okay.
card.
Yeah, the one with the
Gambit.
cards.
Yes.
Okay.
My God.
All right. Okay. Okay. It's a Marvel, so I'll let that slide. It's a here we go. If you had one wish, what would you wish for?
Um, I will wish for everybody in the world to be happy. You know, I want happiness. I want to see everybody happy. Everybody deserves it. You know, it all, but happiness is a choice. It all starts with us. You can choose to be happy no matter what circumstance you're in. It's all in here. It's never exterior. So that's my wish is for everyone
That's
to
awesome.
be
That's right.
happy.
I do deserve it. That is right. I'm gonna
Yep.
tell my family that I
Yes,
deserve
yes, you do.
it. At the end of the rainbow, there is
Um, there's gold, man. I mean,
there's
man,
what?
there's gold. I
Gold.
mean, sure, at least the Lucky Charms commercial stuff.
So, all right, guys. So when you see a rainbow, head to the end of it. You'll see some gold. All right. This question right here is brought to you by Away We Go with Dan on Mondays at 11:30. My dream vacation spot is
Dream vacation spot is the Maldives.
what is it?
I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's the Maldives or the
Oh
Maldives.
yeah, Maldives. Yes.
Maldives. Yeah, that's my dream.
Have you been or do you?
I'm not.
No.
Yeah,
Oh man, yeah. I see pictures and it looks amazing.
yeah,
It looks
so that's my
amazing.
dream destination.
Man, that's awesome. Speaking of like dream vacations, do you travel? Well, before the COVID-19, but did you travel for music? Like they would say, "Hey,
Yes.
can you come here?" Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a lot of traveling. Like throughout the years, especially in the U.S., I'm always traveling: New York, Chicago, Detroit, Texas, wherever. So I've done a lot of traveling, and then I've had the opportunity to do some international travel for music as well.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. And then we have, can you link us to any local places here in Columbus that we would be, that would be a good outlet for young people wanting to get into music? Is there any?
Yeah. So when things open up again, there's a great open jam session. I believe they're still doing it in Columbus every Tuesday. The Park Street Tavern. So they do stuff, and then you might want to go check out Dick's Den, Brothers Drake. They have live music going on. What is that place called? Natalie's up
Okay.
in Worthington. There's a few
Yeah, there
places.
is. There's quite a few. That's awesome.
Copious, Copious is an awesome place as well. I'm just trying to remember all the places I've played. The Rambling House, the Rumba Cafe. There's a few places.
That's awesome. Man. Uh, Justin, thank you again for being with us, taking time, and letting us walk in your shoes. It's awesome. If it was really musical. But is there anything you want to say? Any shout outs or anything you want to tell
Yeah,
us?
I'll shout out to you guys, man. Thank you guys for reaching out to me and giving me this opportunity to speak to you, Danny, and everybody else that's listening. And I just want to say that just be positive throughout this whole time. There's always good things that come out of bad events. So everybody, we just got to keep the faith, choose happiness, and be positive, be good to each other.
Most
And yeah, man,
Yep.
that's all I
Thank
gotta
you.
say.
Thank you. Guys, thank you for taking time and watching A Walk in Your Shoes. I'm your host, Daniel, and you were listening to Justin Campbell. We'll see you guys next week on Wednesday, guys. Thank you for joining. Hasta la vista.